Hello, my name is Ajiro, but you can call me. We're going to be talking about. Just like most big corporations, OF has special guidelines in place to make sure that whatever you do is safe and secure. OF and its supporters portray the platform as a safe and empowering outlet for lucrative, socially acceptable X work. OF says it's building the world's safest digital media platform for creators to be their most authentic selves. CEO described OF as a real community where creators and subscribers can have nicer, kinder, more supportive conversations compared to other platforms. Everything you do is in a safe environment, and you're able to do so because OF cares about its customers, just like most corporations do. And allegedly, that's all BS because the stuff that goes on that app is wild. Now, I'm going to stress this. I don't think the corn industry is entirely bad. There are a lot of gray areas. And regarding OF, I think it is great that there is an environment where people have the opportunity to set their own prices, set their own hours, and be their own boss. OF is not a platform where like all content is actual, but most of the people bringing in the big spenders are all making actual content. Basically, the purpose of this video is that there are just a few things I think people should know before they dip their toe into this very, very weird app. First thing I'm going to address is unlike the legitimate corn industry where workers have to be tested for STIs frequently, when you are an actual content creator in OF, you don't have to do any mandatory tests. You are your own boss. If you want to collaborate with someone, as Nigerians would say, you have to use your church mind, be responsible, all on your own. In a world full of sunshine and rainbows, you would think that an OF actual content creator, in which performing actual activities is your job, that everyone collaborating with other content creators would protect their moneymaker by being as responsible as possible. And unfortunately, if you did get an STI, you would treat it and only resume working when you're in the clear. You would be ready to show an available test result from a reputable clinic so as to assure your colleagues that you are trustworthy and you take your job seriously. But we don't live in La La Land, which is why a couple weeks ago, a content creator called Danae Davis accused another content creator called Gucci Third Leg, and basically she accused him of allegedly knowingly passing on HSV2 to her. And basically, if you don't know what HSV2 means, it's bad herpes, if I can put it in the dumbest terms possible. I don't think Danae Davis is a complete victim in all of this because, as someone who is working in the industry, I would think that she would only want to work with people who can provide proof that they are clean of any STIs. But she said that the money was so good that she firmly demanded he get tested only after they already performed the acts that would possibly pass on any STIs he had to her body. And even after she found out, she continued to collaborate with him because, again, the money was so good. I still very much think that Gucci Third Leg should have gotten way more online bashing than she did because he was patient zero. Duh. The whole situation was a mess, honestly. I think she said she treated herself. I hope he treats himself. Probably won't. I don't really know. He seems like a deviant. Now, how OF works is that the platform users must supply a credit card to pay for subscriptions, customized corn, and gift tips. You put your card in once, and then you simply click to buy. Chatting with models on OF can help fill a void, as some people would say. The problem, which I recently found out, is that a lot of the customers on the platform are already in committed relationships. Some are even married. And some of them are spending money that's not even entirely theirs. There was a TikTok video, and I probably won't be able to find it. They were a boyfriend and girlfriend living together in England, and the girlfriend discovered that her boyfriend had spent almost 5 figures, I think, on OF. And when she confronted him, he said, "Well, maybe we were scammed." yeah, it's probably a scam. You should like call the bank and find out what that's about. She continued to press and press and press him on it, and he eventually confessed that he was paying for OF and he was funding this mostly from her savings. He then proceeded to downplay it, saying that, well, it's just corn. I don't really understand why you're making a big deal about this. And she proceeded to tell him that it was over, um, and he should get out of her house, and that there was nothing left to say. And obviously, I don't want to say men being men, but men being men, he decided to do damage control only after she had reached her breaking points. He was like, we can get through this. Like, you're just blowing this all out of proportions. You don't have to kick me out of our house. Well, your house. Delicious tears. There's another TikTok video where a woman who works in finance or in a bank or something, I don't remember. She says that she often gets so many calls from a lot of wives saying, hey, I keep getting suspicious charges from the same company on the joint account that I share with my husband. Do you know what this company is? And this woman said that it was not her place to expose these women's husbands for the trash that they are. And I completely respect that because it is a 9 to 5. And she often responds by saying, well, since it's a joint account and you guys both have access to it, I think you should ask your husband. If you don't know, he'll probably know. But I don't really know what this company is. I'm so sorry. Have a lovely day. Married men are draining their bank accounts. Yes, these married men are grown ups. Yes, they make decisions for themselves and they should be allowed to deal with the consequences. However, a lot of these married men share joint accounts with their wives, so they're not spending money that solely belongs to them. They're financing their guilty pleasures with pensions, joint accounts, and sometimes even maxing out family credit cards. It's a whole mess. For example, a woman named Melinda Lamb from Colorado said that her husband allegedly spent $135,000 on OF. Melinda was undergoing chemotherapy because she was battling with breast cancer. At the time that she found out that her husband had drained $40,000 from the family savings and had maxed out 6 credit cards. He even withdrew money from the pension. Again, these men are grown ups who are definitely old enough to make their own decisions and face the consequences for these decisions. However, when the consequences involve your child's college fund, the retirement savings, the family emergency funds, I think the first step is admitting that you have a problem. The worst part about all of this is that these men are smiling at their wives every goddamn morning, acting like nothing is wrong, acting like everything is fine, knowing fully well that the funds have been depleted and the assets have been sold and the debt is growing and the house has been remortgaged. But everything's fine. Melinda's husband was not like that 13-year-old girl from China who spent $64,000, which was basically her entire family's life savings on mobile games. No, this is not the same. This is a grown man. That's also horrible, by the way, but this is not the same. This is a grown man with a corn addiction who simply did not care even while his wife was battling with cancer. And if you think Melinda is dumb for never realizing how much financial ruin was waiting for her, if you think, well, I would know if my husband was draining our savings, I want you to watch this video from the Financial Diet YouTube channel. It will truly shock you how many partners have no idea what goes on when it comes to finances. A lot of them are shocked when they get divorced and they realize that there's nothing to split in the divorce besides the mountain of credit card debt. Melinda Lamb says that OF is making all this money at the expense of people like me. It's just money in their pocket, and they simply don't care about the repercussions. There's more to Melinda Lamb's story. Unfortunately, there's also themes of assault and abuse. Google Melinda Lamb OF if you want to find out more. Now, this week, an OF content creator who makes actual content has gone viral. Her name is Sophie Rain. I didn't just put the thumbnail because I just wanted to do clickbait. Well, I did, but I'm also going to talk about her. She went viral for posting receipts of her making $43 million in a year off OF. Honestly, when this news hit me, I googled her because I'm a human being, so I wanted to know what she looked like. Saw that she was 19 when she made most of the money, and she looked really good. She has a really amazing body. And then I was like, makes sense. And then I moved on with my day. I did not think that a lot of people would be crashing out from this. Like, people were calculating how much she made per month, calculating how much she made per week, calculating how much she made per day, calculating how much she made per hour. All of a sudden, everyone knows how to do math. I was extremely confused to why people were purposely seeking out information that would just make them feel worse and worse and worse. Because if we're being honest, she's just one of the top creators on OF that we have found out about this year. I'm pretty sure if the top 100 creators showed how much they made this past year on OF, I'm convinced a lot of people would be jumping off bridges. I saw a lot of men saying things like, "We need to stop these females, bro. They're making NBA money, bro. This is insane, bro." And then I saw a lot of women who work high-paying corporate jobs making TikToks saying, "It's not fair." I really had my eyes open to the fact that as human beings, we're often compelled to always compare ourselves, to compare up. We never compare our lives to people who have way less than we have. We often compare our lives to people who have insane amounts of wealth. That's not healthy at all. Oh, and the people who made TikToks while under the duvet of their bed saying that this news has made them depressed. Jonathan, Josie, I think you were already depressed. Don't put this on Sophie. Not everyone on OF is posting actual content. OF is a platform where you can make a lot of niche content, but a lot of the top 1% creators are all making actual content. OF earned $1.3 billion in revenue in the year 2023 alone. Top creators earn millions of dollars a year, and their success has spawned a freewheeling industry of promoters and talent agencies. Now, that would mean that less than 90% of people are making the amount of money that people claim you will make if you create an OF account solely for making and selling actual content. But as sure as Dr. Madone's hat is 50 feet tall, these promoters will sure try to encourage you to make an OF account the minute you turn 18. And that is absolutely horrifying. A lot of agencies, influencers, and top creators will sell you a lot of false promises. Like, you're going to be working 6 hours a day and you're gonna be living the influencer lifestyle just like I am. What they purposely leave out is that their content and your content will be shared without your consent. Because the paying public doesn't care about how much sweat and tears and thought you put into that photo or video. These people are soulless, and they will share your stuff on Reddit. Now, if against all odds you are able to make a ton of money off OF, congratulations, sincerely. But another reason why I'm not sure if OF is a good thing is because it's relatively easy money. And when most people get easy money, they tend to spend a lot of it. You know that influencer lifestyle money I mentioned? Well, some people are actually able to get that through OF. And they live life fast and they live at large. They spend money on vacations, expensive clothes, bags, shoes, expensive restaurants, cars. They rent out mansions, high rise apartments, condos. I think some of them do it to just be like, hey, I did OF and look at how good I have it. But easy money finishes quite easily because after you hit peak earning levels, the money starts to get smaller and smaller. For example, last year you earned something relatively close to Sophie Rain. You earned like $10 million. Amazing. When you have $10 million, there are a lot of things you can think to spend that money on. You get comfortable living a certain lifestyle. Next year, you earn $8 million. Still very, very good. But then next year, you earn 500,000. And then next year, you earn 100,000. All of these yearly salaries are very, very, very impressive. However, when you were living a certain lifestyle and you want to keep it up to prove to people who generally don't really care about you that you still are that bitch or that he bitch, you are going to run through that money fast. I genuinely hope that Sophie Rain, again, a lot of people are just saying this. It's kind of like a lot of people are just like saying, oh, she makes this. She didn't say she makes this. She said she made $43 million a year. That could have been a really, really good year for her. That could have been an average year for her. We don't really know. From what I've seen, she doesn't seem to be buying ridiculously stupid, expensive clothes that cost like $30 to make in a sweatshop. She doesn't seem to be doing too much. So I sincerely hope that she's wise with that money and she's set for life. After all, 2024 was the year of the girl. Unfortunately, though, the green pastures of OF are more cutthroat than the modeling industry. So after 8 or 10 years, if you're lucky, you will quickly age out. Like the shallow, weight obsessed modeling industry, as you age, your good earning years will be well past you. Like gravity, what comes up must go down, and like most former rappers from the 90s, your income earnings will dry up. There's always going to be a young, perky, bouncy little Miss Thing. That's how the world works in industries run by male gaze shallowness. Another troubling thing that I think a lot of these promoters are not telling people is that making actual content on OF could relinquish possible future job prospects. That's like the first thing the conservatives say. Well, you go ahead and you post your hoo-ha on the internet. No one's gonna wanna hire you. Yes, yes, yes. Unfortunately, I have to talk about it. I think they could possibly be relinquishing future job prospects for the promise of making a lot of money for like 5 years tops, if you're lucky. Being an OF actual content creator might be very short-sighted. But when you look at our current economy, can you really blame these people? Because I can't. A lot of people aren't even just like solely relying on OF as their sole income. A lot of people are teachers, nurses, everyday people who are using OF to supplement their income because the economy is trash. No one is paying people enough to actually live a decent life. It's depressing and it's sad. I don't believe just for the sole fact that I am a woman that you should assume I respect X work. So I will state it for a fact. I do respect X work. It is a legitimate profession and is also the oldest profession. I just think it would be better in an ideal world where people have thought about the pros and cons and have realistic expectations of what might be coming their way. But also, I think when a lot of people hate on OF creators, that most of them are really jealous because if a lot of them had the opportunity to just share a few photos and videos and make 5 figures a month, they would throw all their higher than thou morals to the wind. And with the amount of everyday people and suburban moms, partaking in OF, one future good thing that could come from this would be that 40% of people have their nudes on the internet. And if 40% of people already have their nudes on the internet, I think a lot of employers would be forced to not give a shit. After all, there is a woman who is going to be the First Lady of the United States for the second time in a row, and she also dabbled a little, in the X and corn industry. So maybe in the future, there'll be less stigma. It's like Cassie said.
Because, I mean, what's the worst thing anybody could say to her? That she gave a blowjob to a guy who didn't deserve it? And she figured by the time she was out of college and looking for a job, 99% of the population would have leaked nudes anyway.
Nevertheless, it's still very, very unsettling how many big creators and influencers suggest OF to just turned 18 young girls, only talking about the amazing financial benefits that they will have, not that they may have if they're lucky. Also, apparently now there are OF agencies that are trying to recruit young, impressionable, naive women. Yeah, because that's not shady at all. During lockdown, DW, a 21-year-old woman from Seattle, lost her job as a waitress, so she created an OF account and posted seductive photos of herself. A man started paying $25 a month to subscribe to her account. He began messaging her directly, saying he'd pay extra for even racier videos. Because of his obsession with her, she closed her OF accounts. She said that she just got tired of it. But she still needed money, and he paid well. He would send messages like, "I wish we were in bed together right now. I wish I could build a family with you." He paid to call her daddy, and he called her his who, Re. In July 2022, the man called her on Instagram and said, "This is your Uncle Eugene." He was her mother's sister's husband, essentially her aunt's husband. "I don't see you as my niece," he continued. "I see you as a woman. Please don't tell your auntie." He paid to call her daddy, and he called her his who, Re. DW said, when you're making an OF account, you're gambling, betting that your clients are strangers who won't cross into your real world. I can imagine that DW was thoroughly traumatized by that experience. I hope she reported her uncle to her mom, and I hope her mom believed her and reacted appropriately, calling him a weirdo perv. Talia Madison, an Australian woman, went public with a claim that her top subscriber was her stepfather. He'd paid $1,500 for custom videos while they lived in the same house. Shaina Beckman, an Australian creator, cut off an obsessive fan when she found out that he was a cousin she'd grown up with. What is wrong with these? What is wrong with these men? Creators often don't know the true identity of their most loyal subscribers. Disturbingly enough, they can turn out to be relatives, employers, exes, or stalkers. I'm just gonna put her name here. Scarlett, last name, a Florida law school student, found out that someone had created a fake OF account, photoshopping her face onto someone else's body. The person who had created the fake OF accounts had also created an Instagram page with her real name. She was angry, frustrated, and also worried that the fake accounts could damage her job prospects. Scarlett filed a complaint alleging misuse of confidential information with the police department in 2022, and unfortunately, there haven't been any breakthroughs on her case. I think with a crime as niche as this, a lot of legislation in different countries where OF exists are still very, very behind when it comes to identifying and prosecuting these crimes. Many OF accounts have allegedly been built with stolen names or images of real people, Often pictures are taken off Instagram, Facebook, or other social media and reposted on OF, sometimes linking their real names, like Scarlett, unfortunately. Most of the alleged victims in these police files are women and teenage girls. I think the underlying issue that often gets ignored, for example, when people were crashing out that Sophie Ring she made $43 million in a year off OF, is that people are clearly addicted to corn. And I think there have always been people addicted to corn. But right now, I think we are in a very clear, obvious corn addiction epidemic. Yes, there are like so many epidemics going on right now, but I think it's getting really, really bad. Obviously, it's always been there, but now that people are literally just getting addicted to this stuff and literally like spending five figures, again, it's a lot of gray areas. And this isn't, yeah, a lot of gray areas because it's like, yes, you're making your money in an industry where historically women had to work under a PIMP and be abused. But on the other side, there people have clear corn addictions and they're putting themselves and their dependents in clear financial ruin. Yes, women are being bosses, but women are also being harmed from this. People like Melinda Lamb and other people. That and other weird stuff that is also happening on the app, like, your most loyal subscriber ending up being someone who was a parental figure in your life before, like a teacher, a babysitter, an actual family relative, your employer, your boss. Oh, and let's not forget, your information could get stolen and then used to make content on OF. A lot of scary things going on what is supposed to be the world's safest digital media platform for people to be their most authentic selves. If people end up actually watching this and you want to still dabble in OF, maybe you were encouraged by the whole Sophie Rain thing, just do your research and lower your expectations. I hope if you do it that you are not too traumatized and you make decent money from it. And I hope you're wise with the money as well. That's the most important thing. Like, if you spend all of it, what was the point? Yeah, that's basically all I had to say on that. I will not ask you to like and subscribe. You will like and subscribe if you want to. But if the spirit moves you, or if my witchcraft just happens to work, I'm glad you stayed and I hope to see you again. Bye.